Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Anita, and this is where I show people how I've lost 145 pounds following an animal-based ketogenic diet. A big part of my diet these days is seafood, specifically seafood high in omega-3, and for the most part, that includes a lot of sardines. Yes, I eat a lot of sardines, and back in February of 2023, I did my first 3-day sardine challenge. And I did it after seeing Dr. Boz talk about it on her channel. And I'm going to link that below because it's what inspired this whole journey. I did it at that time specifically to raise my ketones. That was the only thing I had in mind. I heard that it was good for lowering blood glucose. You get a better GKI or Dr. Boz ratio. But so many people were talking about how it boosted your ketones. And so that was my goal at the time. Little did I know that it would start me on a different path of Omega3 Mania and reducing the pain in my knee, for which I was on a waiting list for knee surgery. It's been nothing short of miraculous. So since I did my 3-day challenge, that video that I did that followed me along for the 3 days, I'll link that below as well. I think it has gotten something like 400,000 views. It's had a couple thousand comments, and I did some follow-up videos, and those had hundreds of comments. And so I still up to this day, a year and a half later, I get comments on one or more of my sardine videos every day. So my idea here was to talk a little bit specifically about the most commonly asked questions. Today I'm only going to be addressing 3 of them because this would be a super long video and I don't want that. I'm going to be talking about which sardines are best. That's my #1 question that I get. I'm going to talk about the risks and benefits of sardines. There's both, according to some people, but you have to decide. And I'm going to talk about costs and the various price points and how to get them. So before we get started, I'd like to thank today's sponsor for making this video possible, and that is Element. They make a super tasty electrolyte drink. It has a science-backed formula of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I use it personally to reduce the leg cramps that I get at night and keep me hydrated. I am doing very clean carnivore right now. I am not using the flavored ones. They are very tasty and many people do like them. For me, I'm sticking with the raw, unflavored. And that is quite tasty too. You can put it in bone broth. You can put it in water, maybe with some lemon or sometimes I use apple cider vinegar, that kind of thing. All up to you. There's all kinds of different recipes I've made on my channel that use the Element, or you just put it in a cup and drink it. Right now, Element is offering to my viewers this 8 flavor sample pack. It comes with 8 of their flavors, including the raw, for you to try. You can share them with a friend to introduce them to electrolytes, or you can try them all and see which is your favorite flavor. This is free with any purchase from their website. It will be put into your cart if you go to drinkelement.com/ketogenicwoman. That's DRINKLMNT.com/ketogenicwoman. Thank you again, Element, for sponsoring this video today. So which brand is the best brand of sardines? Well, that is a very subjective question. I went sardine shopping last week, and I would like you to take a look at all these different sardines that I picked up. Each one of them is going to taste different. So what I will suggest to you is, if you're trying to figure out which ones taste best, is to buy a few different brands, a few different varieties. So I've come down to my favorite ones, and I buy them over and over again because I have tried many different kinds now in this past year and a half that I've been playing with sardines. My favorites are the King Oscar bristling. And so I order these by the case from Amazon. And I like any type of bristling, actually. So we have these available in grocery stores. This is Cloverleaf bristling sardines. I like the King Oscar just a little bit better, but I do eat a lot of these as well because they are available locally, but only in one store. So again, I order these as well by the case from Amazon. And so sardines come in olive oil, they come in extra virgin olive oil, they come in water, they come in a whole variety of seed oils, which we of course want to avoid. There's also tomato sauce, lemon, there's all kinds of different ways that they come. So these are the two that I buy the most. I buy bristling sardines in water, and I buy bristling sardines in extra virgin olive oil. Now, as I'm looking around at sardines, I also have noticed that they have other names. I got many comments on my videos where people said, well, they're not really sardines, they're sprats, or those are actually called pilchards, or those are not, they're just a small fish, they're actually a herring. So, I never set out to become a sardine expert or know what family or species, but what I have found is that it seems to be a regional thing. Where the fish is caught seems to have something to do with what they might be called. Some of these, I noticed, are from other countries. This here is just called small sardines in olive oil. It's a product of Spain. And on the back, they refer to them as small sardines. And that's it. That's all the information you get. And then there's another one here where I think it might be this one. These are called sprats on the back, yet the front says sardine. And it's bristling number 1 and bristling number 4. I have no idea what the difference is because the back is like they're from the Baltic Sea. The back says spratus, so that kind of makes me think of sprats. It might be something to do with the size. So I will probably open these at the same time one day and see why one is number 1 and number 4. And then there was another one here that was called pilchards on the back. I think it's this one. Yes, this one says pilchards, yet the front says sardines. So, it's very confusing. So it seems to me like they are small, oily fish. They may or may not have these different names. They are probably part of the herring family. I honestly think that's getting into the weeds. The important thing to note is that they're all extremely high in omega-3s. So, as long as you are avoiding the seed oils, this is a good, healthy fish to be eating. I do happen to eat a lot of them, and according to Dr. Boz, it is perfectly safe and healthy to do so. And I'll get to that later in the risks and benefits part of the video. So the other thing I want to mention is that they do come in a variety of with bones, without bones, skin and bones, boneless, skinless. The bristling sardines are always skin and bones. There's no heads. I mean, a lot of people say, "How can you eat the heads?" I've never seen a sardine head. I've never bought a whole sardine, so they're just not in there. None of these cans will have a sardine with a head on it. I'm pretty sure. Maybe some of these fancy imported ones. I don't know. I haven't opened them yet. But generally speaking, you're just talking about the body is there with a little bit of tail. The bristling sardines are so small that they are intended for you to just pop them in your mouth or put them on a pork rind or something, or for those of you that are keto, you can put them on some kind of keto chip or a celery stick, or however you want to have them. They're meant to be eaten whole, and you cannot taste or feel the bones inside. And they are not slimy. I've heard people say, "How can you eat slimy fish?" They're actually not slimy, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I know that. So really the answer to what is the best sardine is the sardines that you can afford, and the sardines that taste good to you, because you're not going to know which brand and which type are the best until you actually try a few. It's hard. I know that some of you are going, I can't buy 10 cans of sardines to try when I can barely stand the thought of opening up one can. So my suggestion to that, if that's where you're at, that's okay, because a lot of people start there and have told me that, I was so afraid for so long, and then I tried it and it was just no big deal. But if you do have some fear about it, the best thing to do would be to try some recipes with sardines in it. I'm going to put a playlist down below. It's got all kinds of recipes. I recommend the seafood balls. They contain sardines. They're really crunchy. I love those. I recommend the Sardine Salad, and that's a recipe that I learned from Mary over at Mary's Nest. And it's got lemon and parsley, and it's just fresh and light and delightful. That's a good way to introduce yourself to sardines. So, give some of those recipes a try before you commit, to doing 3 days. The other thing I learned from doing those 3 days is that you don't have to do 3-day sardine challenges to get benefits. So let's talk about the benefits and the risks that are out there and that people ask me about. So sardines are very high in protein, very rich in omega-3s. Omega-3s are so good for your joints, your hair, your skin, all those things. It's been crazy good for my knee. As I mentioned earlier, I am on a waiting list. This waiting list in Canada, they are long. They are years. A couple of years ago, the pain in my knee was 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Now it's like 0, 1, 2 out of 10. So, if they ever do call me, I'm probably, I'm at this point, there's no reason. I heard Dr. Baker say that the reason to get knee surgery is to manage the pain. Well, I don't take Tylenol for it. I take nothing. I haven't had to take anything for my knee in forever. So, there just doesn't seem to be a good reason for me to go through surgery. I thank sardines for that. I thank all the seafood I've now been adding. I don't do 3-day seafood or 3-day sardine challenges, all the time. I've probably done a few, but mostly they're just in my regular rotation. Sometimes they're just a quick lunch, and that seems to be enough to maintain that, good feeling in my joints. So that's a benefit. They are rich in vitamin D and B12. And if you're using the bone-in sardines, you're getting a lot of calcium too. So those are good things. What are some of the risks, though? I have a lot of people who want to point out the risks and think I'm crazy. Well, they kind of think I'm crazy anyways, that woman who just eats meat. But so if you have a histamine issue, canned anything is not great for someone who has a histamine issue, depending on, how severe that issue is. And you may have to stick with fresh sardines or fresh seafood if you want, if your goal is to increase omega-3s. Fresh seafood is a better bet for you. I've had people comment and want to know what to do because they're allergic to fish. Well, if you're allergic to fish, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to try harder, because if you're allergic to fish, you're allergic to fish. And I recommend that you maybe try an omega-3 supplement, a good quality one. But even there, if it came from a fish and you're allergic to fish, that might be risky. So I don't know. I mean, you'd really have to talk to your doctor about that one. But yeah, nothing to be done there. Grass-fed lamb is high in omega-3. So I throw that out there. What about gout? So a lot of people commented on my videos, it's going to cause gout. Well, I've not seen any evidence that it causes gout. And the Mayo Clinic even has a statement on their website that says the benefits of sardines outweigh the risk of getting purines in your diet from eating, adding sardines to your diet. So even they don't seem to be too concerned about sardines. They feel that it might be worth it for you. So, but again, that is something that you have to look into. Use your doctor or a medical practitioner to help you with that. I can't answer that for you, But yeah, I mean, some people have left that comment, so I just wanted to address it. And then the other thing that people are worried about is mercury. So many people said, 3 days of sardines, you're gonna get mercury poisoning. Well, in fact, I will link a sheet below. The FDA has a sheet where they list the seafoods that from lowest to highest. It's 4 pages long, and on page 1, the lowest fish that swims, like shellfish are there's like almost no mercury in shellfish, but of the swimming fish, sardines are the lowest in mercury. And on a recent video that Dr. Boz put out, she mentioned that you'd have to eat like 100 cans of sardines in a day to even get the most minuscule amount of mercury that anybody needs to be concerned about. So I'm not worried about, having sardines every day. I'm not worried about even eating 6 cans in a day. Not even on my radar. So those are the most common, negative things that people have asked me about. And, just look into them all. I'll post whatever links I can below. So we talked about the benefits and the risks, and now I just want to talk about the costs. So this variety of fish. So what we have here on the table is we have the extreme budget versions, medium, and high budget. I bought some of each, for demonstration purposes. The high budget sardines and other fish in the store, they had other fish besides sardines. They are typically imported from places like Spain, Portugal. They have fancy, weird packaging. Like this is packaged in some kind of fishnet stocking. So I'm sure that probably plays into the cost. And you've got, these some with fancy artwork, and some of these are $10 a can. They had a couple of cans there that were $12, $14. I didn't bother. I just thought, okay, this is, that's ridiculous. The medium price sardines are where I fall into the game. And these are all in the, $3 to $4 range. So Cloverleaf in Canada, King Oscar, which I get off of Canadian Amazon. In Canada, it seems like there's not a lot of choices. There's a lot of choices when it comes to ones that are loaded with seed oils. There's not a lot of choices if all I'm looking at is water or olive oil. And so they seem to have a lot of the expensive imported ones. So I bought these. These are one-time purchases. This is what I live on. But then we have the real budget ones. So this one is Brunswick sardines in spring water. This I can get from my local grocery store, and it's usually $2.99. Sometimes it goes on sale a little lower than that. And it's decent. I don't like them because they're big. There's 3 or 4 only in this can. I mean, I eat them when I run out of my King Oscars. I like this one. Has like 20 little tiny fishies in there. I love those. 3 or 4 big ones. I load them up with mustard and just close my eyes and eat them. But they're decent, and they're a lot cheaper. This package, also Brunswick, also in spring water. This costs $1.75 at Dollarama. So I highly recommend that you try your local dollar stores for some of these items, because they have a couple of other decent options too. This brings me to a comment that I got that was heartbreaking on my channel, and this was just about a week ago. Some fellow commented and said that he was about to be homeless, and he was worried about maintaining, his standards of eating. He didn't want to have to start eating ramen. He was going to be living in his car for a while. And when I was in the dollar store and I saw these sardines, I immediately thought of him. And, I don't know how he's going to be watching. Hopefully he still has internet on his phone or something. I don't know. On the off chance that he sees this video, I would encourage anyone who is on an extremely low budget to check out their dollar store. $1.75, you're getting water-packed sardines with good omega-3s, more nutritious than eating ramen for sure. But they also had, while I was there, they had clams in water, so, more protein. They had mackerel in water. This big can is $1.75 as well, and it contains... where is the protein? It contains, for a quarter cup, it contains 11 grams of protein. So I would say this is 425 grams. There's a lot of protein in this can for $1.75, and there's no seed oils. It says that it's mackerel water salt, may contain sardine or abalone. More seafood. So that's an option. And then the one that surprised me the most was salmon. They had wild-caught salmon in the dollar store. This was $2.25, but this can contains about 49 grams of protein. This is the can that I buy from Costco. They're the same size, and I often will have this for lunch, but I feel lucky if I can get this for under $5. It is wild sockeye salmon, yes. This is wild pink. But if I was if I was living in my car, I would totally get this. You need a manual can opener to open it, but you can get those at the dollar store. And these have the little pop open, the little pop lid, so that's convenient. So I feel that on any budget, people can get their seafood, get their omega-3s, and be a little healthier. These may not be the premium brands, But the premium brands, I believe, are outrageously priced for what you get. I'm very happy with what I call the medium priced brands. So that is all I wanted to say in this episode of, I don't know, maybe I should call this Sardine Chronicles or the Sardine Sessions or something. I feel like when I go through those comments, I mean, there's hundreds of them. I'm going to have more to talk about, but these were the main points I wanted to cover today: the risks and benefits, why I did the sardine challenge and where that brought me today, and the different price points and availability. So just to recap, the best sardines that you can buy are the ones that you can afford and that you like the taste of. Everything else, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to eat something you don't like. So find one that you like. And I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.